Welcome to the official podcast of the WCD. We are just now 2 months away from the World Congress of Dermatology, which will be held in Singapore in July. I am Dr. Etienne Wang from the National Skin Centre of Singapore, and I will be a host for this podcast. You can listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Pocket Casts, and wherever else you get your podcasts. In this podcast, I speak with dermatologists and skin researchers from all over the world to talk about all things dermatology, and today my co-host Sashin is back for another topic for discussion. Sashin, what do you have for us today?
Hi Etienne, nice to be back after a while. So today I have this really exciting paper that was actually made the headlines recently. It was from New York University. It was published in Nature, and it was titled "De-differentiation maintains melanocyte stem cells in a dynamic niche." This was by Sun and colleagues. It basically advanced our understanding of how melanocyte stem cells actually work to color hair. I mean, I always knew that it was melanin that gave hair its pigment, but didn't realize that it was such a dynamic process where these stem cells have to have these signals to produce melanin. So to simplify what the study showed, the human hair follicle has these melanocyte stem cells, or MCSCs. This new study actually shows that these stem cells, the melanocyte stem cells, are actually remarkably plastic. It's almost like they're riding a train. So during normal hair growth, these cells would move back and forth on this axis of maturity between immature and mature. And interestingly, even different physical locations within the hair follicle determine how much signals they're exposed to, and downstream, how much pigment they ultimately produce. So I thought that was fascinating for starters.
Yes, so I think the interesting thing about this paper is that it really challenges the idea of how we think stem cells behave, right? Because initially we used to think that stem cells came from, for example, if you talk about the interfollicular epidermis, the stem cells come from the basement epidermis, and then they differentiate and then they disappear after that, right? And I think that's how we thought pigment cells used to work in the hair as well. The hair follicle melanocyte stem cells would be in the bulge, and when they differentiate, they go into the hair matrix and disappear off after that. And it's this long-lasting population in the bulge that will replenish the melanocytes throughout your life. And when your hair grays, the initial dogma was that this long-living bulge melanocyte stem cells were depleted. But now we've learned that these bulge stem cells actually are replenished from their progeny, which is very different. And I don't think that's been actually described in any other stem cell population, right? So I think this really leads us to think about how we can actually prevent graying, because we never knew that we could prevent graying. We used to think that, you have a bunch of melanocyte stem cells and once they're gone, they're gone. But now we know that if we can somehow direct the progeny to go back to the bulge, we can actually maintain hair color.
Exactly. It really gets you thinking about how the aging process actually works in graying hair. You almost feel like stretching this out or extrapolating this out into other areas. Because, for example, in vitiligo, other areas where pigment is involved, we see patients having perifollicular repigmentation. It actually makes me wonder, at some stage, would it even be possible to apply this to other skin conditions and say repigmentation of skin, depigmented skin lesions? That's something that's on the cards. It talks about this chameleon-like function of our skin as being able to, dynamically move between these two states. When they talk about reprogramming, they say not just preventing grays, but even reversing. And I think that would be a huge breakthrough.
Yes, I think there are some anecdotal reports of people trying some supplements or some antioxidants or even like chemotherapy or something that somehow jumpstarts your stem cells, that they actually experience their hairs going from white or grey to black or darker colors again. So I think there is something that we really do not understand about the behavior of melanocyte stem cells and their progeny at the moment. And I think a lot of this actually has come about because of very new techniques. Do you know which of these techniques in this paper are particularly new and why they're so exciting?
I think one I thought that was interesting was how they actually located the stem cells in different areas of the hair follicle.
Yeah, so of course, this is a new technique called intravital imaging, where you can actually observe the behavior of stem cells in a living animal.
The 3D intravital imaging, right?
Yes, the 3D intravital imaging. So this is a technique developed by Valentina Greco in her laboratory. And I think Mayumi Ito's lab, who did this paper, actually employed these techniques to observe the melanocyte stem cells, both in the bulge and in the matrix and in the hair germ, and how they actually toggled back and forth between long living and rapidly differentiating. So I think when you apply this to other stem cell compartments, we might actually see this happening in a lot more tissues than we think. This really upends how we see stem cells and how we actually can approach regenerative medicine in the future.
Definitely. And I think that's the first time they've actually shown in real time, right? Like tracking cells moving almost in real time.
They've actually been doing this with keratinocyte stem cells for the last 5 years. So
I
we've
see.
actually seen how hair follicles grow, how the keratinocytes in the epidermis actually behave during wound healing. All this have been actually quite exciting in the last few years. But I think this is one of the first times they've actually shown the melanocyte stem cells doing this.
Oh, impressive.
Okay, thank you. That was very exciting. And I think we hope to maybe hear them present this at the World Congress.
Definitely looking forward to that.
Yes. Okay, well, thank you, Shashin.
All right. Thank you very much.
Okay, I'll speak to you next time.
Yep. Take care.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
And now I'd like to welcome to the podcast Dr. Sandra Lee. Dr. Lee is a board-certified dermatologist and a cosmetic and Mohs dermatologic surgeon. She's also known as Dr. Pimple Popper with more than 7 million subscribers on YouTube and over 1 billion views on her content, which includes most of our routine dermatology procedures. She's also the author of the book Put Your Best Face Forward, the ultimate guide to skincare from acne to anti-aging, and she's also the star of her own reality TV show on American cable channel TLC, which is now in its 9th season. Congratulations on your success, Andra, and thank you for coming on the podcast.
Wow, thank you so much for such a wonderful introduction. I'm very excited to be here. I don't know if you know this, but you know that my family is from Singapore.
Yes.
So,
In my research,
yes.
I did learn that your father was from Singapore. Have you ever been to Singapore?
Oh, yes, I have quite a few times. Most of our family still live, and my father's side is from Singapore. My mom is from Malaysia.
I assume you'll be very excited to come to the WCD in a couple of months.
Yes, I'm very excited because it's been a while since we've been there because actually my parents are coming too. And, they haven't been back since all of this craziness happened in the world. So, they're looking forward to it. And I am too. I haven't seen everybody in quite a while.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
Can you just tell us how this journey to becoming a social media sensation started for you?
Well, it has been quite a whirlwind, and I don't think it's really what I sort of expected, but it all really started back in 2016 or so, and I just started to post things on Instagram, and I thought, why don't I start a page about my work as a dermatologist? And I happened to, in the beginning, post a blackhead extraction. I don't usually do that. As you know, we dermatologists don't usually extract blackheads. But I happened to videotape one, and I noticed an increase in attention. And I thought it was very strange. So I just did it again, and it happened again. And lo and behold, I saw that there was this thing that people were interested in. And I just kept posting and posting, and it grew. And I could say all from that one single post, it grew to this level here. So it's been quite crazy. So just happened to be a lot of lucky events, I feel like, or, all the planets aligning.
Why do you think we are so fascinated with pimple popping? Do you think you've ever answered the question for yourself?
Yes, I actually joke that I myself am not we call them popaholics. I myself am not one, but I have become one, certainly because I recognize why people like it. And I think that's part of why maybe my success in creating this too is because I recognized what people liked about it and tried to emphasize that more. And I think I remember one time I was editing one of my videos, a blackhead extraction that was quite, interesting on this gentleman's forehead. And I caught myself watching a part of the video over and over again just because it was so good. And that's strange, right? I kind of got a little feeling of why people like it. There's multiple reasons. Mainly, in general, it's interesting because it makes people happy, which you would find strange, but it relaxes people. People watch them as bedtime stories, as help them sleep at night after a stressful day. They like the closure that you get. You're removing something that isn't supposed to be there. Or also people really like it because it sort of is like a whole storyline. Like, you have some negativity, you have some conflict, and then you have a resolution in the end when things are back in their place. Some people like it because it's like watching a scary movie or like riding a roller coaster. Also, maybe my voice, people said that, many of my early videos, people don't know what I look like. They just heard my voice. And I speak in a very soothing manner to kind of calm my patients. And I think people really like that. And they really kind of felt my videos were a combination of my voice speaking very quietly and soothingly, and then the videos of these extractions energized them and made them feel good about themselves or good about just good in general. And then I just think education part is also important because I try to teach people a little bit about their skin, and I say that I sort of trick people into educating them, and I think people feel good too that they came away maybe with some new knowledge.
Yes, I think I agree with everything you said.
Yeah.
I did watch a couple of seasons of your show on TLC, and I actually found that your bedside manner is amazing. And even at my stage in my career, I was learning actually quite a lot the way that you
Uh-huh.
were managing your patients and the way that you were holding yourself in the operating theater. Do you ever get like residents coming to tell you that they learn from what they see on your shows?
Thank you very much, by the way. That means a lot to me. One interesting thing is that I remember I was invited a couple, like maybe a year or two that I've been doing this, to give a speech at a big dermatology conference. And I was really pretty nervous because I had not spoken to dermatologists about this per se, and I was concerned how they were going to take me really. That was one of the biggest things. And when I started, like, how are dermatologists going to really feel about what I'm doing? And I will say it was like standing room. I mean, it was packed in there. And I had all these dermatologists come up to me, especially residents, saying that they watch my videos before they go in and do a surgery, to sort of psych them up or give them some last minute tips. And dermatologists telling me that they really like what I do there, that they're happy that I'm sort of representing dermatology in general. It makes me feel really good because I don't want to make my patients feel, embarrassed of what they have, what I put out there. And I certainly don't want fellow dermatologists to feel like I am, making a mockery of our specialty.
Yeah, I was going to ask you whether you felt like the dermatology community has embraced you and your choice in career, but I think you answered that question, and I think it's actually quite great because not all of us can be the same, right? We all do
Yes.
things in different ways, and we reach out to our patients from multiple angles. So
Hmm.
we can talk to a patient in clinic, or we can talk to a patient on a YouTube channel or cable TV, and just make sure it gets the message out to them.
I have actually a funny story. So I didn't tell my husband who's a dermatologist as well, and my dad that I was doing this in the beginning when I was posting because I was getting like thousands of views on YouTube. I started putting things on YouTube, and I started getting all these views, and I was
Hmm.
like, wow, this is like becoming something. And I think the first time I told my dad was when I went viral once. I remember Instagram, I didn't have I still had notifications on just because every now and then when somebody would, subscribe or follow me, it would come up. And my phone, I was at work and my phone just started flipping like I couldn't even get into it because all these people suddenly started following me and liking me. And I was like, what is going on? And I found out it was because I went viral. And I remember I had dinner with my parents that night, and I told my dad, Dad, I had a viral video. And my dad was like, what are you talking about? What kind of video is this? And I said, Dad, it was on blackhead extractions. And he was like, what? That's ridiculous. He's like, that's the
Yeah, it's
silliest
so
thing.
routine. It's so routine
Yes.
for us, but for
Yes.
as we mentioned, it's this fascination in most people. I have a few theories about why it
Hmm.
is.
Go ahead.
Have you heard
Yes.
of trypophobia? It's like the
Yes. Oh,
yeah, it's where people just really have this phobia for holes. And I think
yes.
that's on the extreme end of the spectrum. But I think most of us actually have this. We're almost mesmerized when we see like holes
Yes.
because we're on alert because we're not sure what's going to come out, right? Because it might be a
Yes.
parasite, it might be food, it might be something. So we have this kind of, we get mesmerized. And then when we do see something come out, there's this like resolution, as you mentioned before. So there might be something evolutionary there that I think is
Right.
very interesting.
Right. They even say like even like animals, or like chimpanzees, or how we pick at our skin, that we sort of have the
Yeah,
same sort
yeah.
of trait, and just yeah, it's just fascinating. I sort of tapped into this that I didn't realize was there because I myself wasn't one, and I didn't realize how big I sort of grew it and thought, let me see how many people would be into this. And and I think the show took it to another level, which was really nice. They really show the patients, they show me, they show really how we dermatologists do such a wide range of things. We are so much more than just pimple poppers. There are so many different things that we do, and I just tap into one area of it, and it ended up, me removing some pretty big growths. Fortunately for the patients, but unfortunately for me, because I didn't really expect that maybe in my job, description there, but it's been a
Yeah.
really wonderful, and it's been a wonderful experience, and it's crazy that this all happened.
Yeah, that's not all you do, right? Because in your TV show, you do handle things like rashes and other dermatology
Yes.
conditions as well. Do you still feel the need to create content every day, or is it mostly for your TV show now?
I mean, I feel the need to create content every day, not every day, but you go through waves of it being sort of frustrating or tiresome. And, it's another job, it's another whole way of thinking, really. And so I do feel the need of it just in as much as you feel the need to go to work every day, or to
Mm.
make an income or to, continue on. I enjoy it in many ways. I don't want it to become too much work because then I probably won't be interested in it. But I also have this sort of security that I have a day job. So I don't, and also these things come and kind of walk in, and in many ways, I didn't really have to create new ideas for this content. This content could just walk through my door.
Is the TV crew like at your practice the whole time,
Oh
so they
no,
can
they
catch these
come.
things? Is that how it works?
No, they do. While we're taping the season, we tape about 4 days out of the week, and each day is certainly about a little less than an episode. So those days are reserved for just me taping the show. The office, so we tape on the weekends as well, which is when the office is not open. But half of the time, the office is open, and there are other dermatologists here, seeing patients at the same time. So it gets really busy and hectic, and that's why part of it you'll see, you see in more recent episodes that were outside. Part of it was because
Mm.
of COVID, and we couldn't go inside for a while. We just were able to take off masks very recently here in California. It's also just opened up a lot of room and space for us to move around. So we finished the sort of the 10th season already, and so we have a break now, which is really lovely for me. And then I do like the interview part, the confessional part, we call it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
But
Yes.
I went to Singapore a few years ago, probably like 2017 or 18, I think, and
Mm-hmm.
I was recognized there as Dr. Pimple Popper, which was so like extra lovely because these are, I feel like, my family almost. And that was, I remember we were at lunch and somebody at the next table recognized me. So that was pretty cool. So I know it's like something that certainly is seen in Singapore. The show is seen there.
Oh yeah, yeah. People love it here.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
great.
What do you think of the name Dr. Pimple Popper? It's stuck with you all these years. Have you ever
Yes.
thought of changing it?
It's I think part
It's
of
a
why this
brand.
grew. Yeah, it is
Yeah.
definitely catchy, and people may not have remembered my name or what I did, but that name, with the alliteration and everything, is I think it's very catchy, and actually happened a little by accident as well. So, of course, it's sticking. I'm proud to be Dr. Pimple Popper. I have no problem with that. I'm proud that these little youngsters come to my office, like 8, 9 years old, and they want to meet me because they want
Yay.
to become the next one. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. The National Skin Center in Singapore is colloquially known here as the Pimple Palace.
Oh,
So it's got
really?
alliteration there too. Yeah,
I
by the
need,
young ones.
wow, I need to go there actually then. I should visit there as part of this.
What else are you looking forward to on your visit to Singapore?
Well, we're going to Malaysia as well, and Singapore. I think we're going to Vietnam. We're going to go visit Vietnam and Japan on the way home. So it's part of a family trip. My kids are with us. One of my kids is graduating high school, and he's going off to college to the East Coast. So, there's a little bit of he's leaving us and his last big trip. And my mom is celebrating her 80th birthday. So we're going to have a big celebration in Malaysia and in Singapore. I actually was hoping, and maybe if other dermatologists hear this, I was hoping on making some content out there. And I really kind of I have an idea of creating another sort of show or some kind of thing either on social media or on television where I want to kind of show how dermatology is the same yet different in different parts of the world. How beauty we perceptions can be a little bit different, but also very much the same, and how we do things differently. I would
Hmm.
like to be, part of something where, when they put those giant snails on your face because they feel that there's anti-aging properties in there. So I would love to do things like that, or just see at people's offices and how they work, how they're different than ours, and also how, we all sort of are doing the same sort of thing in many ways.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll see who we can put you in touch with.
Yes, but I don't know if I have enough time, so we'll see.
Yeah, all right. Okay, so thank you so much for speaking with me today,
Yeah.
Sandra. I've really enjoyed this, and I really can't wait to meet you at the WCD in July.
I'm very excited to meet you. I look forward to it. I hope you're going to be there on the 4th, correct? So I'll be able to
Oh
do that.
yes, yes. I'll
Okay,
be there. I'll be there every
fantastic.
day. Yeah.
Fantastic. I'll see you guys there. I'm so excited about it. I'm so excited about attending the World Congress. I've not been to any of them. So this is my first as well. So this is a way for me. This is a wonderful way for me to start.
Great, great. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Bye
Bye.
bye.
And that was the official podcast of the WCD. We're almost at the WCD. It's only a few months away. And if you haven't registered, please do. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Instagram at WCD 2023 Singapore. And check out the WCD website, wcd2023singapore.org for more updates and content on the WCD. And until next time, stay safe and use sunblock.